Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another teaching tutorial we have going on. And we are going to start with Adobe Illustrator, and we are today going to learn the basic principles in Adobe Illustrator. And we're going to be going into layers. So here we have in our taskbar Adobe Illustrator, and we're going to pull up Adobe Illustrator. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to File, and we're going to do a New. And what that's going to do is pop up a new window, a new document window. So if you've never done anything with Adobe Illustrator, this is the new document window that pops up. Now, up here you have different selections to do from. If you do web, you are going to have a different, as an example, a color format, or if you're doing something for print, it would be under a different color format. So we are, for all purposes, are going to go with print. Okay, so over here on the right side of the new panels, we're going to title it let's just title it layers. Okay, so when you get through titling your document, you're going to not hit return because that's going to close out. You're just wanting to get all the things needed to set up that you're going to use. We're going to use inches instead of points or pixels. If you were using Adobe Photoshop, you would be most likely working in pixels. So we have a standard mode, which is the width and height. You can choose different presets. You can view different types of presets. They use points. The standard default display units are points in Adobe Illustrator. We are using inches. Okay, over here, let's just get familiar with this. You have the orientation. You can have it either in portrait mode, where you take like your high school pictures, they are in portrait mode, or you can choose landscape, which is just a 8.5:11 turned sideways. Now over here you can have artboards, and if you ever ask yourself, what is artboards? That's a good question. What you're going to do is, if you click more than one, you can have, when we get through closing this out, you will have two of these 8.5:11 screens on your artboards. So we're just going to stick with one for all purposes today. And just for this teaching tutorial today, we're just going to leave all the bleed and the, if you drop down here, you'll notice we are in print, which I said print uses the CMYK color format, and we're using the high PPI, points per square inch. So you don't need to know that, but like once again, I was just letting you know what they are. So we're going to go ahead and create this new document in 8.5:11. So let's just go and do that right now. So here we have the Adobe Illustrator has recognized all your input information and has set up an 8.5:11 template. So over here to our left hand side, we have our tool icons panel right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to choose the rectangle tool right here, and we're going to click and drag all the way down. Okay, and we're going to get set up. And if you don't get it totally right, what you can do is just take this right here and just adjust it to the 8.5:11 template. You see this right here just changes, not changes, moves it, but you can use the direct selection to directly change this right here. So always remember, you can use your Control Z to go and change, you can also go up here to Objects, use Transform, and do that right there. Let's see right here. Under the selection. Okay, we're going to go up and go out just a little bit. And we're going to make this nice and the right size right here to where we can work. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Once you get set up in your document, you can do many things. So once again, you can move your document right here, not your document, your rectangle around, and like I said, you can adjust it and you can do whatever you need to with it. And Adobe Illustrator has guides that you can use. You see this right there. Now it helps you when you want to see your template that is behind here. So that is your template, and this is your rectangle that you made. So let's go over here, and we were talking about layers. So this is the layer that you created. So imagine this is your first layer. Remember, this is right here when you go over here. And by the way, you can take this thing right here, layers, you can click it, and you can take it out of that little window right here. All these things right here you can take out. You can put them back in too. You can put them back in there. Take this little layers panel box and put it in. Let's put it in right there. Okay. So you can work with that. So this is your first layer, like I said. You've already named it, and this is your object within your first layer. Okay. So let's go back over here to rectangle, and we can create a rectangle. Now under the rectangle tool, you'll notice right here that there's a triangle. If you hold that down, you can make you have these options of creating different things with different tools. So we're going just to do this with the rounded rectangle tool. You can do that right there. Okay. You can go back over here again, and you can use the ellipse tool, and you can create a circle. You can create an ellipse. Now if you hit shift, it's going to just make a uniform circle. You see that? So we're going to leave that like that. Okay, we're going to choose one more shape right here. We're going to use the Polygon tool. Okay, so let's come over here, and you can use a polygon right here. Okay, oh, you can go back over to your selection tool, and you can check this out. You can transform this polygon tool. Okay, or the polygon shape. Okay, remember, you can go back and press Control-Z to go back to your last step that you used. Okay, also you can do click and then push shift, and you can uniformly within scale go and make your polygon larger. Now you can do a bunch of things. You can do it with. So you also have over here in your tools, you have oh, excuse me, in your, let's see here, right there, okay? Then you have your star tool, okay? So you can create a star, okay? So you can do that. Now, you notice it's filled, it has a color fill in it. And I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to move it around, okay? So you see this, I accidentally selected the type tool. Well, you can delete that. Select it and press delete to get rid of that. Now, okay, so now if you noticed having the layers panel open, so we created these 5 shapes using the different shape tools, okay? So now we're over here, and let's just look at what we have over here in the layers panel. So this little looks like an eye icon. Well, what does an eye do? It looks at it. It looks at things. You see things. Okay. So if you click off that, you're not going to see anything. Okay. So if you click on that, you're going to see all these. Okay. And so as is each individual object that you selected. Let's just go with the last object we created. We're going to turn off the visibility icon, I call it, and so on and so forth. You can go down, okay? And remember that the objects you selected is going to be the order that they are stacked, or it's also called a hierarchy, okay? You know, if you created the first thing first, which is this shape right here, you can go over here and click this little button right here, and it will show you what you want to select. Same thing with that, okay? Just wanted you to know. So you can do the same thing with the star right here. Now, like I said earlier, you see our star has a fill color. So what you can go over here and up here in our upper left corner, look at this around here, okay? And if you need to if you're saying, well, Derek, you're going just a little fast, always you can take this video, rewind it, and drag it to your left, and you can go back and watch it again. So we're going to go with, this is the fill box right here. You see all these colors? What you want to have, if you want no fill, is go boom right there, okay? So you can deselect the fill box right there, and voila, you have that right there. So you can also check this out. Now remember, if you go over here, the stacking order shows what order you made your objects in. So if you want to, you can select it, drag it anywhere. You can go down. You can put the star right there, okay, right at the bottom. You can essentially say to Adobe Illustrator, well, that was the first object I created, okay? You can do that. But for now, we're just going to hit Control Z. And like I said, that's going to take us back one step, okay? So you can apply that to any of the objects, okay? You can take this ellipse right here and take it up to the top one, okay? So there's many things you can do within the layers, and we're just skimming the surface of them, okay? So the other thing that we can do is this little drop down arrow, you see? When you create things in your layer, you have that option to drop down, and then you will see the individual objects that you have created. So just understand that that's what that drop down arrow does, okay? When you select this blue little square, what that is going to do is that is going to select all, or going to show all the objects that you created, as opposed to, as an example, just that one. Okay, so you can do that with your circle and so on and so forth with your different objects. So that is some of the basic things that you need to know. Just basically learning layers. One of the other things you can do, now let's say an example. You see this down here, this highlighted little icon. When you hover over it, it shows create new layer. Okay, so we're going to create layer 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to take layer 2, and also, by the way, you see this empty column right here? We're just going to lock everything right there on layer 1. Okay, so what that does, you ain't going to be able to edit anything on layer 1. Okay, so when you're creating, sometimes that's a good thing to have if you don't want to mess up anything on layer 1. If you accidentally click on layer 1 when you're wanting to, let's say, make some shapes with color on layer 2. So we're going to be taking layer 2, and we're going to be selecting an object tool. So let's just take the ellipse tool, and we're going to create a circle. Now you see when it does that in the very middle, that means it's a true circle, and we're going to hit the shift key while we're dragging, okay, and we're going to have that there. Okay, so once again, when you have that right there, you can create a perfect circle. Okay, so now what we're going to do is on the layer 2, we're going to add some different colors. You have this is called a swatch panel, and these are individual swatches. Okay, so that's what you need to know about these, and these are the basic colors that are in excuse me, and the color swatch panel. So that is just so you know. Now also you can do a stroke. Okay, well, you say, what is a stroke? You can think of it as a brush on a canvas, and that's what you see when you apply a stroke. It will get larger. Since we have, let's go with blue. Okay, so blue, we're going to increase our stroke. Looky there, you see that? Now we're going to go to our selection tool, and we're going to deselect that. So now you see we have a fill color, and we have a stroke color. So, and it shows up on layer 2. Okay, you drop down or use the drop down arrow, and it shows that this is your ellipse. Okay, let's come back over here and hold down under our object icons, and we're going to go into or let's choose a star. Okay, and we're just going to make this right here. Okay, well, maybe we don't want a stroke color of a blue. Let's go with yellow. We can change it with yellow. Okay, so once again, that's how you control or change the stroke color. You can also come up here, since you have your star selected, you can change your fill color. Let's go with, so look at there. Okay, so you deselect that by clicking away from there, and we're going to click our selection tool. Our selection tool is really cool. It lets you put any things around there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back to our layers panel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock layer 1. Okay, so we have all these now. We can, at the same time, we can move that. We can move this around. We can select this, and we can move that around. We can, has it no fill, we can do that color with a stroke color of, let's just say, there we go. Since we can't see it that well, our stroke color we need to enlarge. So there we go. Okay, so that's a good little, right there. Okay. Okay, so now I just double clicked. I want to share something with you. Okay, when you double click on a object, okay, you will see over here in the layers panel, it goes into a mode called isolation mode, where the object you double clicked will isolate itself from all the other objects. So that's another thing that you can work on while being in isolation mode. So that's if you don't want to. This is another like a locked feature, but they don't call it a locked feature. They call it an isolation feature. So that is something that you also want to know, and then you can double click out of that and return to regular mode. Or you can go back and voila, you're here, and you can get these right here and just do basically anything you want to. You can, like I said, use the fill color, use the stroke color. You can do a lot of things in the layers. So I'm going to wrap it up for now, folks. Hopefully this has helped you. If you're new to Adobe Illustrator, hopefully you can learn something from there. And if you like what you've seen or you heard, and the like, or down there in the bottom, there's the subscribe, and also there's the bell icon. Hit the bell icon and you'll be alerted when a new video comes up. So once again, thank y'all so much for watching this video, and y'all have a great day, and keep editing.